What does kindness mean to me? Well, for my daughter, who asked to be remembered by the motto, live kindly, live loudly, kindness is all about looking out for other people, being a friend to anyone who needs one. It's also about taking care of the planet, so avoiding overconsumption, keeping your carbon emissions to a minimum, and picking up rubbish when you see it. And it's about being kind to animals. So for my daughter, that meant not eating any animals, but also giving our home to rescued pets and even picking up snails that are crossing the pavement and moving them to a place of safety. The loudly bit about her motto is about being brave and standing up for what's right, call out injustice and call out unkindness and encourage everyone around you to be kinder, to make the world a kinder place.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to KindFest. I am delighted to have with me Emma Jones, who has set up a charity called Live Kindly, Live Loudly, and she's going to tell us all about it. And I'm going to let her introduce herself now. Hi, Emma.
Hi, Claire, and thank you so much for inviting me to talk to you. So my name is Emma Jones, and I am the mum of Ruby Fuller. And we set up Live Kindly, Live Loudly in Ruby's memory and at her request. So Ruby very sadly died of blood cancer 3 years ago when she was 18 years old. Until 10 months before she died, she'd been a perfectly normal, happy and healthy teenager, full of hopes and dreams of going and changing the world. And somebody for whom kindness had always been really important. It's how people would always describe her as somebody who was very kind. And when I say she was kind, that was to people, also to animals and to the planet. And when she became sick, and particularly when it became clear that it wasn't going to be possible to cure her of her cancer and she was going to die, as a teenager, I think it just really crystallized for her that actually kindness is the most important thing. It's kind of all that really matters. And so just a couple of weeks before she died, she said to us, I want to be remembered by the motto, live kindly, live loudly. And the kindly bit was obvious. The
Yeah.
loudly bit was kind of linked into that because it was all about standing up for what you believe in, not letting unkindness go unchallenged,
Yes.
really.
And I
And so
love
that,
that sentiment. You don't often hear the kind of loudness of that sentiment very often.
yeah, yeah. And I think, I mean, that's the harder bit quite often. It's not, I mean, kindness can often be quite challenging, I think, anyway, but being quietly kind in the background is much easier than kind of being loud about it. It means not turning a blind eye. It means, really going out there and
Yes.
shouting about what's important. And so it gave us a great thing to focus on, in her absence, and it gave us something to
Yeah, it's such a
channel.
sad time.
Yeah, exactly,
Can
exactly.
I mean, I love the sentiment and obviously it's super important. How does it manifest itself through the work that you do? You know,
So yes,
yeah,
yeah. So what does it mean in actual practice? Well,
yes,
the main thing we do around that is we fundraise in Ruby's memory for research to find
amazing.
kinder and better treatments for cancer. So for anyone, I'm sure lots of people listening will have had experience of just
Yes,
how horrendous cancer treatment is. And I think particularly for young people, it's particularly brutal because really the younger you
yeah,
are, the more aggressive your cancer tends to be. And they have to give you treatment that just knocks the stuffing out of you. And sometimes the treatment itself can actually kill you.
it's brutal,
So
isn't it?
it's so brutal. Ruby was left, I mean, everyone knows about hair loss and feeling sick, but
Mm.
she was left using a wheelchair. She
Oh
was
my
so
gosh.
incapacitated by her treatment. So we fund research to find kinder treatments, to find ways of curing the cancer, but hopefully in a way that won't leave you, that won't completely devastate your quality of life, while you're
Yeah,
in treatment. So and that's been a great thing for Ruby's friends and family, school, the community to get behind. So we've raised, eventually we hope to raise £500,000, which was roughly what the NHS
amazing.
spent trying to save her. We're almost halfway there now, so we've got a few research projects already underway, which
Yeah,
is
I saw you'd
really
got to, have you
exciting.
reached, is it 200,000 you've reached, or are you
Yes,
above that now?
we're at 222,000. So with gift aid, it's
Amazing.
about 240, which is absolutely brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And actually, I'm speaking tomorrow to the research team, the first research
Oh,
team carrying out
fabulous.
research with her fund, and they've got some really promising results. And actually, the world of cancer research is incredible. The progress that's being made, because an awful lot of the drugs that we used to treat Ruby, they're the same drugs that were being used to treat cancer 40 years ago. And actually, there's now huge progress. So I'm really optimistic that there will be more effective, but also kinder, gentler treatments on the horizon. So that's one part of what we do.
Yep.
Um, and then another part really is sharing that motto and sharing why that motto was important and what it means. So, in particular, we do that with Ruby's old school, so both her primary school and her
Killer.
secondary school. So, her primary school have been fantastic supporters of her fund. She was 18 when she died, so she left her primary school a
Mm.
long time ago. The kids there now didn't know her as a person, but they all
Mm.
know about Ruby. They've learned about Ruby and her motto and why it's important. And they've done fabulous sponsored kindness events, kindness weeks, where the
Amazing.
children will pledge different acts of kindness and get people to sponsor them. So they've been
Amazing.
brilliant, brilliant at fundraising for us. And with her secondary school, actually, because I think quite often at primary school, kindness is recognized and rewarded. If there are any kind of prizes, there's often a prize for kindness. Whereas in my experience, once you get to secondary school, it's all about achievement. It's about
And
academic.
competitiveness. And yes,
Yes.
absolutely. So
So
true.
yeah, so we introduced with the school's collaboration, we introduced a new kindness prize,
Oh,
which
fabulous.
is actually been very generously sponsored by the by Wagamama, the restaurant group, which was Ruby's favourite place to eat, and they've been wonderful supporters of our fund.
I
So
saw you did an event, didn't you, was it during lockdown with
yes,
Wagamamas? Yeah.
yes, they had a Ruby's dinner party cook along where their head chef
Amazing.
Steve Mangleshot taught us all how to cook Ruby's favourite
Oh,
food
wonderful.
online. It was chaos. We nearly, I mean, not for them. He was brilliant. We nearly burnt down the kitchen because we were so excited and not really paying attention. But we just set off the smoke alarm. But yeah, it was a fabulous event. They've been incredibly kind actually with their support, hugely supportive. They so shortly before Ruby died, when it was the height of the pandemic, and
Mm,
couldn't even begin to go and try and do any kind of bucket list because you weren't allowed to mix with anybody.
that
But one
must have
of our
been so
friends,
difficult. Yeah.
yeah, it was, I mean, it just made something that was already going to be really hard, even harder. But one of the little kind of rays of sunshine in that was that one of our dear friends got in touch with Wagamama because Ruby was craving Wagamama food. And at that time, all the restaurants were closed. You couldn't even get a takeaway delivery where we were. We were outside of
No.
whatever zones. So she contacted them and just asked if there was any way they might be able to deliver Ruby's favourite food to her.
Amazing.
And they responded and said, "Oh, we'll go one better than that." And basically, their head chef and their head of marketing showed up with this, specially prepared
Incredible.
meal, and it was lovely. And they've been, yeah, super supportive since then. So they sponsor this kindness prize at Ruby's secondary school. So there are 5 prizes given out each summer to a pupil
Amazing.
who's nominated by their head of year. And they get so as well as getting a certificate, they get a £50 Wagamama voucher, which makes
That's
just makes
incredible. So the
lovely.
sentiment lives on. We must get you involved
Absolutely.
in our Kindness and Education Awards next year, Emma.
Yes, yes, definitely. No, yes, absolutely. They'd be great candidates for that.
Yeah, it
Um,
sounds super.
yeah, and then the other thing really is that around that motto, that's been a great focus for people to design things. So
Yes.
we've had friends and family, but also professional artists and school and community art projects designing things around the motto "Live kindly, live loudly."
And does that
Um,
help you raise money for the research as well? Does it go directly
Absolutely.
to the research?
Yes. Yeah.
Amazing.
So we produce merchandise with the motto on it. We did a postcards for Ruby raffle where I contacted a whole range of artists, some of whom Ruby had featured in her GCSE art coursework,
Oh,
um,
incredible.
and had this amazing response, as well as illustrators of some of her favorite children's books. So people like Nick Sharratt, who's the illustrator of all the
Oh,
Tracy Beaker and also the You
yes.
Choose book. So he did a lovely mock-up of the You Choose cover, but with Live Kindly, Live Loudly. We
Yes,
had people
I had a look at
sewing.
your merchandise, and I would encourage all of our viewers and listeners to go and have a look because you've got some really wonderful things there.
Yeah, they make great Christmas presents, and all the
Yeah,
profits go straight because of the way we're set up. So we're a charity through the Children's Cancer and Leukemia Group charity. So
yes.
basically, every penny that we raise goes directly to funding the research, which is
Which is a
brilliant.
bit, and actually that's quite unusual, isn't it, for a charity and
Yes,
fundraising?
yes. Yeah, because they
I
kind of they
see,
cover the overheads. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. I saw on your website as well that you've done a couple of visits to the research units, which looks amazing
Yes.
to see the research in action, which is
Yeah,
fabulous.
it was so exciting. And I did that with Ruby's younger sister, Tabitha. So she did
Oh,
that.
that's lovely.
They let her do a whole week of work experience. So she's in the final
Oh,
year of sixth form at the moment and is actually applying to university to to medical school or to do biochemistry research.
amazing.
So she just, I think she was always interested in science, but
Yeah.
really motivated by the experience of losing her beloved only sister, her only
Well,
sibling.
yeah, but what a touching legacy. I mean, if she can
Yes,
do some work in that field as well, which
absolutely.
is,
And they were so generous. And again, that kind of theme of kindness, the research team were incredibly generous and kind. I know from personal experience, it's not always that easy hosting a work experience
yes.
student. And they went out of their way to make Tabitha feel welcomed and involved. And she was so
Bravo.
happy and so excited to be part of it. And it's really kind of rocket fueled her ambitions to work in that field, which is
Oh, that's
fantastic.
marvelous.
Yeah,
Well, I wish her luck. Again, I'm going to encourage everybody to go and visit the Live Kindly, Live Loudly website and have a look at the marvelous work that you do. Do you have any events or anything coming up in the near future you want to tell us about?
so at the moment, what we're planning on next is another auction next year, following on from a very successful one we did previously. So we'll be launching that, I
Great.
think, in the spring. So for our last one, again, it's a range of different things, but a lot of them are focused around the motto. So we managed to get, for example, a guitar donated by the band Coldplay,
Oh,
and
wow.
they'd written her motto. So they'd written "Live kindly, live loudly" on the guitar, and then they
Oh,
all
that's so
signed it.
good.
So we auctioned that off with a range of other merchandise, so jewelry inscribed with her motto, pieces of artwork and prints and merchandise. So if anyone's interested, if anybody can
Yes.
donate anything to our auction, that would be amazing. Or if you'd like to bid on something, then yeah,
Yes.
just Google Live Kindly, Live Loudly, follow us on social media or check out our website, and sign up for updates, and we'll keep you notified when when that's launched.
Yes, we'll post some links on here as well as our website as well, Emma.
That would be brilliant.
I wish we had more time. I want to thank you for telling us about Live Loudly, Live Kindly. I think what you're doing is amazing, and the sentiments are definitely aligned with what we're doing here at Team Kind UK. So thank you so much for your time. And we will follow you with glee and look out for what you're doing next.
Well, thank you so much. It's been an absolute honor to talk to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Emma. Thank you.